Hey guys, it's Roland here with Vortex Aquaponics, and I just thought I'd let you know of a little opportunity that I would like to present to everybody. As school is out and potentially indefinitely for the next little while, I will be making my living here at home. And what I'm doing is I'm offering 20-minute live video tutorials for a family or as many people as you'd like to gather into a room so that I can show them about aquaponics, and I'll teach them using this system that I've got here all about aquaponics and how it's a cooperative system. So the Aztecs were using aquaponics about 800 years ago, and they were growing their food on rafts called chinampas, and they were growing it on fish water. So they realized back then that food grew really well with the symbiosis of using fish water. And so what we have here is these little goldfish in the tank, and they're producing ammonia. As they're doing their thing in the water, they're polluting it with ammonia. That ammonia-rich water normally would require a filter on our fish tank, or we would have to change out the water so we didn't poison our fish. With an aquaponics system, it's totally different. We have a biofilter right here on top. This garden in a soil-like medium will grow food up to twice as fast as soil gardening, and it uses 90% less water. With aquaponics, we don't have to use pesticides or herbicides, and if you think about it, commercial aquaponics, we can also use fish that we would be able to harvest at the end of their cycle. So potentially we could be growing with trout or tilapia or perch, a number of different kinds. We can also grow with crawfish. Anything really that produces ammonia and lives in the fresh water. So what we have is an expanded clay pellet medium. I've basically taken this system and made it as inexpensive as possible. After doing this for the last 8 years and making custom systems, I have now decided to take used fish tanks, buy used plexiglass online, get pallets for free and make the stand of the pallets, and take a repurposed Coleman cooler and turn it into a grow bed. And it's a great idea because we have food safe plastic. The only real new parts are the pump in there, the water pump, which is constantly pumping water into this grow bed. We have something called a bell siphon, and I will show you what that looks like. I want to say thank you to my son who's helping me with the videography. He's really good. This here is the grow bed, and it has the bell siphon, and so with no moving parts in here, water is able to drain. When it gets to the top where it is now, it goes around this bend and forms a vortex, which then closes off and forms a low pressure in here, which is a siphon. And that siphon will then drain the water back down into my fish tank. And you'll see here soon, it's going to really start to flush. And that's great because that introduces oxygen to my fish tank, which is what fish need. And you can see the fish just love that current that comes in and the bubbles that it produces. So this is a really great addition to the home. I also sell these systems as well. It's subdivided with the 1/2-inch plexiglass, and I've got holes drilled in the top, as you can see, which means that we've now created a sump tank in the back where my pump is, and a fish tank in the front that always stays at the same height. Okay, and the other pipe that you're seeing in here is what I call my emergency overflow. And so should anything ever happen to the bell siphon, we have another way for the water to flow back into the fish tank, and it would just be a perpetual cycle of flow. So you don't end up with water all over the floor. And because you can grow 5 times more dense with aquaponics, we can actually grow a lot of food in here. You'll be surprised. So I'm going to plant seeds that I'm going to be putting in my outdoor garden. I'm going to start them in here. I'm going to actually do that as soon as this cycle is built up. We need to let the ammonia build up and let the bacteria build up in the grow bed first. So I'm offering these 20-minute tutorials. I talk about food security. I talk about where our food is coming from. And as we can see right now, our food supply line has been interrupted, at least temporarily. So to me, it's just another reminder of how we want to get food security going in our area. And we can grow with a passive solar greenhouse. And this is part of what my tutorial is. This is a picture of a greenhouse that we built in Vernon. It's dug into the ground and it faces south-southeast. And at 20 below zero, he's growing aquaponics in there with a big fish, IBC tote with trout in it. And he's putting that trout water into these aquaponic grow beds and growing food year round with almost no addition of heat. So it's entirely possible. I do teach kids about not only where our food comes from, but what we can do with commercial aquaponics. I teach them about permaculture, which is basically how we manage the natural environment around us by putting in as little input as possible and copying nature. And nature is the most perfect way of doing things. Every time we copy nature, we thrive. And our ancestors did as well. No matter where we come from, the people that lived on this earth lived in a more tribal way. They looked out for each other in a more community way. And that's really the only way that we can survive, or at least thrive, because in changing times like these, it's really important to look at growing our own food. So I am starting a garden this year, and I totally believe that everyone's going to be really fine. This is going to be a good test for us of our resilience, and it's also going to be an opportunity to get back to our roots, start growing more of our own food, and to be resilient and make things out of repurposed materials like this. This system here is for sale for $500, and the parts alone cost just less than $200 on this one. I've got a really nice German pump on this. But all the other parts here come together to be about $200, and for the price of $500, I come to your house and I'll actually set this up for you and explain things. So yeah, hope you're interested, and let me know. I will be doing these tutorials by donation, and we'll get people to e-transfer me whatever they can. So I know it's a changing economy. I'm working from home, and hopefully some people sitting at home with kids think this would be a great idea, and we can keep the education going. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. I hope I hear from you in the comment section or message me on Facebook and get a hold of me. Take care. Talk to you soon.